I wonder if they'll play Billy Joel music. Hi, I'm Scott Ott, and this is Bill Whittle Now. And Bill, the University of Kansas is offering a new course this fall, the fall of 2019, on, let's see how we can phrase this, on angry white men and the role of, quote, dominant and subordinate masculinities as they connect to the rights-based movements of women, people of color, homosexuals, and trans individuals.
Is that the actual title?
Well, that's the description. The actual title is Angry White Male Studies, otherwise known as HUM 365. So if you're looking for the textbook down at the Student Center, that's where you'll find it.
That description of the class needs to be engraved in granite. It's just absolutely perfect.
What do you like so much about it?
I like the fact that it is as definitive. Can I hear it again? Because it is absolutely beautiful.
So this is from our friends over at campusreform.org, a reporter named Grace Gottschling. And this is the lead of the story. The University of Kansas is offering a course on angry white men and the role of, quote, dominant and subordinate masculinities, end quote, as they connect to, quote, rights-based movements of women, people of color, homosexuals, and trans individuals, end quote.
Okay, got it. Do you want my response to this?
Well, you know, what I would like is what appealed to you? Why should it be engraved in stone or cast in bronze?
Oh, it should be engraved in stone or cast in bronze because it is the definitive. It's the definitive intellectual. What's the word I'm looking for? Prestidigitation that's necessary in order to make an absolutely absurd and simple and stupid idea sound important and very, 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 very scientific. As I like to say, you know, intelligence is one thing and intellectualism is intelligence been left in the back of the fridge for 6 months. And this is a ringing example of that. I'm presuming from what you said that from the title that the course indicates that angry white males are negatively impacting the movement to provide rights to
Well, that
people.
seems to be the connection there. But I'll tell you, Bill, it's possible you could look at this as an act of empathy on the part of the faculty or the people who decided to run this class. After all, they're going to look at incidents of angry white male manifestations, but they want to get to the deeper sources of this emotional state as they evaluate these incidents. So doesn't that sound to you like somebody who's better trying to understand the world around them and maybe be a part of the solution rather than the problem?
No. Absolutely, and I would like to actually teach this class, and I'm rather hurt actually that they didn't ask me to, because it's pretty clear to me that any reasonable read of history is essentially precisely what they're talking about. Every single human right as a legal protection, as we understand it, was produced by angry white males.
Now, I know you've made that claim before, but wouldn't
true.
you just say it's really been produced by white males? Are they necessarily angry? These are the people.
No. I think they are angry. No. They are angry white males. Absolutely, they are. You don't go to war against the most powerful force in the world, and probably will, maybe with the exception of the current United States anyway, the unbalanced most powerful force in the world. You don't do that twice. Unless you're pretty angry about preserving your rights, and to say that the revolution and Jefferson and Adams, Washington, all of these geniuses, to say that they were just tranquilly sitting around the beach sipping on Mai Tais, kicking theories around, is to deny the fact that they were risking their lives, were going to be hanged as traitors without question. And they decided to do this because they were angry enough at the injustices that had been done to them to codify a series of laws that restricted the use of the government to take away natural rights that existed to everybody in the first place. But no one prior to that had either the intelligence or the courage to simply mark down on paper and make it stick.
Well, Bill, so because this is a university, the University of Kansas, and because
that term
this
does not mean anything, by the way, anymore. It used to, but it doesn't anymore. But please continue.
Well, what I'm suggesting is that this course could actually come to the same conclusion that you did. Not that white males are a hazard to society, but that they, in fact, are responsible for all the great advances that we've seen.
I have no doubt that is the case, Scott.
You seem skeptical of this, isn't it?
Skeptical was, I don't know, 2003 or 4 was skeptical. 2012 was resigned, and 2019 is amused.
Well, isn't this just the kind of open inquiry that you'd like to see in academia, that we wouldn't put any constrictions upon what people can study? And certainly there are angry white males in the culture, so why not offer a class, even if it's not from your perspective, about them?
No, I think that'd be great. In fact, this is why I wish I was teaching the class. I really do. I wish this is why I was teaching a class about angry white males and the rights movement. Because I would walk into that class and I would say what I just said. All of the rights that have ever been protected by human beings, legal protections, have been granted by angry white males. And I'd just sit there and I'd watch the heads of everybody in that entire classroom pop off like popcorn. It'd be like watching a Jiffy Puff exhibit. It'd just be fun to watch their heads explode. And of course, needless to say, they would say all the things that they would say. And then I would confront them with the facts, which they are unfamiliar with, but which are in fact absolutely true. And you know what's interesting about this, Scotty? Here's what's interesting about this. I never, ever would have occurred to me to go around and tell people that all of our rights were provided by angry white males. It never would have occurred to me. I consider these to be the intellectual and spiritual property of the American people that belong to everyone. The idea that I would march along and say, hey, these are invented by us, and they're really ours, never would have occurred to me. It still doesn't occur to me. But since we both know what that class is about, I think it's just absolutely awesome to come in and say, you're right, you're absolutely right. No, that's exactly right. For all of human history, people have been subjugated by the powerful and the weak and the greedy and the stupid, and finally, a group of white males got angry enough to say no. Everybody should have a right to their own life. Now, I'm certainly willing to agree that this process wasn't completed in the initial stroke. That the angry white males' first protection of legal rights was the protection of legal rights for angry white males, granted. But that right was eventually extended to former slaves. It was extended to women and so on. And this is all part of the American story, too. And this is not a story of increasing repression. This is not a story of a good idea gone bad. It's a story of a good idea gone better. And anybody can see it. I saw a person I respect very much. This video may have been a little bit older, maybe 4 or 5 months older, but Pat Condell is a commentator from the United Kingdom. And he made a ringing endorsement for the First Amendment, and said that, which I sadly believe is true. He said that the United States of America is the only country in the world, I'm talking about now, April of 2019, this is the only country in the world where you have the legal protection to say what's on your mind. Now, that's a hell of a statement to make after the astonishing success of Western culture. But in Europe today, in Germany, in any of that speech was banned in Germany, by the way. A person who said that that Islam might not be a good fit for Europe, I forget where it was, he's put in jail for 6 months. Okay, this idea that there's really, honestly, seriously, the Constitution is how the government works. It's the operating manual for the government. And as P.G. O'Rourke famously wrote, the operating manual for 300 million of the most contentious and industrious and energetic people in the history of the world is considerably shorter than the owner's manual for a Toyota Camry. But when you put all the here's how the government works stuff aside, you really can really boil down the United States and the idea of America into 2 complete sentences. I think the First Amendment has 45 words in it, but the First Amendment protects 5 of our rights. It's not just we have the right to free speech, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, freedom of petition, and freedom of the press. That idea is the essence of America, and if there was no such thing as nasty people out there, that's all you need. But there are always nasty people out there who don't like that idea, and so you also need a Second Amendment, which is to say that yes, if you decide to mess around with this First Amendment, we're going to shoot back. Once you've got those 2 things, what else do you need, man? It's like hamburgers, rock and roll, and motorcycles. Once you have those 2 ideas, everything else takes care of itself. And you unlock the entire potential of the human race. This is the thing that I find so reprehensible about this particular aspect of the social justice warrior thing. It's like this idea that somehow these angry white males who put these legal protections in the form of rights kept them to themselves, when in point of fact, the people who are doing the loudest bleating about how terrible angry white males are the ones who have been protected by these protections in the first place. If angry white males were the monsters that these social justice warriors said they were, we would have just taken them out and lined them up against the wall and shot them like they did in Germany, where they also have angry white males, but those were a different breed of angry white males. You see, those were angry white males without any kind of a soul. There was no divinity in the French Revolution and the Nazis and the communists and all the rest of these collectivists. There's no spark of divinity in any of that, and that's why they turn into murder machines.
Well, while you may not have yet received your invitation to teach angry white male studies at University of Kansas or even Berkeley for that matter, I would suggest that it's possible that you could be used by these professors as a case study. And I just want to say in your defense, ladies and gentlemen, this is a man who has a house full of beautiful cats that he is so loving toward, and raccoons come to his back door and he feeds them and he provides medicinal care.
I don't feed them. I do not. I do not feed them, because if I fed them, that would be violation of California state law and I would go to jail.
Oh,
so I don't feed them. I simply look at them and commiserate with their hunger.
Well, perhaps you feed them with music and
that's exactly right. Yes, I spiritually feed them. Yes,
yes,
of course. Yes.
But in any case, Bill, do you think that frankly, that you seem to be defensive about these angry white males? And
no, I'm not defensive at all. I'm proud.
Maybe the left is only looking at one side. Do you think the average angry white male really isn't as angry as he appears?
I'm really glad you pointed that out. You know, I'm probably, by any definition of what the progressives want to make this term, I am without question an angry white male. No question, I'm white male. And I'm angry, and I'm angry because the unbelievable human benefits generated by what these original angry white males did have blessed so many people so far beyond their ability to comprehend it, that they've become allowed our security and our prosperity provided by the American entrepreneurial spirit and the spirit of integrity and honor and courage as provided by the men and women of the United States military in order to defend these freedoms, have created a society that is so magnificently advanced that we can afford to be this stupid. At least we assumed we could afford to be this stupid. We're going to find out quickly that that's not the case. But nevertheless, the thing that I do find most amazing is that these so-called progressives who claim to be talking about inclusion and tolerance and concern for people, these progressives have condemned Black America to 7 or 8 decades of progressive rule with murder rates that are as high as any place in the world, and make the rest of the country's murder rates abnormally high, when in fact the only real murdering that goes on in America is in these democratically controlled murder pits. They have stolen the future of Black Americans and Hispanic Americans by telling them that these little bits of peanut husks that we're going to hand out in order for you to vote for us every 2 years is better than what the damn Republicans want, because the Republicans want you in jail. We don't want you in jail. We want you free. And the people say, no. You Republicans and businessmen need poor people in order for your economy to work. You don't really fully understand sales, I don't think, do you, Scott? I mean, you work in sales. Wouldn't you rather have people who had money if you're in sales? If you're trying to sell stuff, wouldn't you rather have people who had money? I would. I want everybody to be wealthy. I want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to be free. Now, what's interesting is, if you look at the daily lives of these progressives, what you find is the most humorless, angry, self-mutilation. You see these piercings and these tattoos and all of these attempts for attention. You find people who's a generation whose only skill set has been to get angry. That's all they know how to do. These teachers that have robbed them of their humanity, forget their future, have made it clear that the only way that they can function in this society is to be pissed off about everything all the time. And it turns out, strangely enough, that it's the angry white males like me and my friends who happen to be members in of SEAL teams, or people who I know who are serving on nuclear-powered submarines, aircraft carriers, destroyers, fighter pilots, test pilots, engineers, all of the people that make things work, all of these angry white males that are so toxic to society turn out to be the nicest people on the planet. On the planet. They are the kindest, the most generous, the most self-sacrificing, the most decent, friendly, helpful people that have ever lived on planet Earth. And for these furious, angry, stupid, entitled, lazy, ignorant people to have a class like this is to simply say, it's like a big neon sign around their neck that says, I'm an idiot.
Well, the good news about all of this is that because most of these courses are going to be taken using student loan money, some of which will be forgiven in years to come and will never be paid back because the people who take humanities classes can never afford to pay back their student loans, you and I are actually funding this class, and I think a little righteous indignation at something like that is not a bad thing.
I'm not indignant, Scotty. I want to just say one thing. Certainly I am indignant. There's no question I'm angry about this, but that's not my primary emotion. My primary emotion in this is a strong, enormous sense of pity. And I don't mean pity in the snarky way, like I pity those idiots. It is a horrible, horrible miscarriage of any idea of justice for people to have been anti-educated to the degree that they have been in order to hold these kind of theories. I feel genuinely sorry for them, and I feel like they have had their essential qualities as a human being stolen from them by people who knew better and who still know better.
We're on a mission of mercy, folks, and the members at BillWhittle.com
Ring the bell.
That possible. We appreciate your contribution. By the way, if you're watching this video on YouTube, there's a little notification bell that will send you an alert when we post a new video. So make sure you hit that. It's not entirely clear whether subscribing to the YouTube channel gets you that same treatment, but the little notification bell should help. If you're not already a member at BillWhittle.com, you can go there today and click that Become a Member link, sign up, and join the people who are providing dozens of programs every month to people like you and a community, a fellowship of liberty lovers that I think you're going to thoroughly enjoy. And it's to those members that we say thank you. So on behalf of Bill Whittle, I'm Scott Ott. Thanks for watching.